Good day, lords and ladies, and welcome back to Skald against the Black Priory. With me, Cornish-knight, and Kane, the sellsword. As we make it through the prologue and find ourselves 2 weeks prior standing at the gates of the Byron estate. Guardsmen dressed in the livery of House Byron. The guard scours somewhat at you. Armsmaster Lyra awaits you at the main entrance. Best talk to her if you're not already doing so. The House of Byron is one of the most richest and most influential houses in the north. The current head is Lord Cato Byron. Come here, whelp, says a man standing by the fountain. An aging, armoured man in the livery of House Byron scowls at you. Eyes like coal peer out from a craggy face, fringed top to bottom with wild white hair. He has returned his challenging stare. The old man crosses his arms, steps forward and leans towards you. So, young sellsword, come looking for a scalp, have you? Though his voice is full of gravel, there is now a glint in his eye as though the old coals have begun to warm up. Cadion, you old fool. Yeah, let's go with that one. A single bark of laughter emanates from the dense beard as he embraces you in a crushing bear hug. Cadion may be older and greyer, but from the force of the hug, you don't reckon you have any more chance of beating him now than you did as a 12-year-old. Go easy, you old boar. It's good to see that some things haven't changed. Let's go with that one. Go easy, you old boar. Caden steps back and allows you to breathe again before grabbing you by the shoulder. We heard of your father's passing. Truly, he sits with the golden dead now. Tell me, how did he die? In glorious battle at my side, drunk and reeking of his own piss. Let us not dwell on old wounds. Do you know why I'm here? How do we want our father to have passed? That's the question. If we're a sellsword, then probably our father was a sellsword as well. So it's either going to be in battle or basically from alcohol and basically disease. Let's go in glorious battle at my side. Caden's eyes narrow. When the old warrior died a fitting death. Cadion is quiet for a moment and breaks into a grin. We'll raise a cup in his name together, you and I. Soon as you're done with Cato, I can rustle up some ale fit for a guest. Cadon, why am I here? You inquire. Master Cato will chew your ear plenty when you see him, Kane. Lyra, the new Master of Arms, awaits you by the main entrance. She'll escort you, and don't ask her not to. If you think I had a temper. The joke fails to hide the note of anxiety in the grizzled house guard's voice. Diplomacy versus 15. What are you hiding from me, you old boar? Let's go with that. We can try it. I have changed the dice since last time just so the dice were more visible for us. Let's see what we get. 11 or higher. Nat 12. Double sixes. Here we go, folks. We just succeed. Never could pull the wools over your eyes. Truth is, many a day's been dark of late for House Byron. Perhaps it all started when you and your father left. A guilty grimace flashes across his face. Or maybe it started even earlier. Cadion pauses to blow out a long breath. I won't betray my master's confidence by saying more. Best to see him yourself. Very well. I'll go to the Master of Arms, you reply. Something is afoot. If you want to explore for old time's sake, take this lantern. Lord Byron will wait, and we won't. Take this lantern. Lord Byron will wait, and we don't want you getting lost in the head's maze again. The man laughs heartily and hands you a small brass lantern. Whatever you may come to pass, it did this old warrior a barrel of good to see you again, boy. The old man slaps you on the shoulder in parting, almost knocking you off balance. He then seems to remember something as he leans in conspiracously. My damn knees acting up again. Can't hardly sleep on the account of the aches. Let me tell you, I would take an arrow to the leg any day. If you're going over to the kitchen later on for a bit of grub, if you're going over to the kitchen for a bite of grub, a bottle of brandy from the wine cellar would make me a happy man. Caden sifts as if emphasising his stiff knee. But first, don't keep Lyra waiting any longer. Talk to her first, and I'll be here for later. Okie dokie. You pet the dog. So what are the journal entries? Side quest. Boar's medicine. Caden asked me to fetch a bottle of brandy from the wine cellar under the kitchen after I talked to her. Okay. Woman stands before the main entrance to the villa. Her posture speaks of a graceful, coiled power, that of a dueling ace. No doubt she is the new master of arms for House Byron. As you approach, she offers you a quick, neat bow, just low enough to be respectful. Greetings, Kane. Master Cato welcomes you back to House Byron. The Master is eager to meet you and is ready at your leisure. However, if you wish to refresh yourself first, he suggests you visit the kitchen for some food and then perhaps walk the grounds and gardens. Why have I been summoned? That is for the Master himself to answer. He will soon enough. For now, though, please get some food and look around. I am sure old Cadion would be happy to see you if you haven't talked to him already. Very well, you mutter. Excellent, for I saw you still know your way around the gardens. The kitchen is the building to the east, and the garden and head's maze is to the west. Come back and check in with me once you've stretched your legs. Okay. Let's go to the kitchen first. Maybe we can grant something for our old mentor. And they seem to have a number of people on guard. Okay. You'll find the kitchen, yeah. So that's what we've already been told. You enter the kitchen. A pair of scullions offer a hurried bow. It's all so much quieter, emptier and gloomier than you remember. Of course, old Magda is no longer where she used to be, sitting by the oven, kind, red-faced and tending a sank of lamb. You reminisce. You remember the matronly woman as she sat, humming to herself, pouring fat over the roasting meat. Child, come here, will you? Magda was always a beacon of kindness in a childhood where such qualities were few and far between. Go to Magda. Magda clasps you gently with her tubby hand. Have you eaten yet? Before you can answer, she produces a small bundle of treats from her apron and hands it to you. As the son of the Master of Arms for the great House Byron, you do not go wanting, materially, at least. Thank you, you say. Magda looks at you with kind eyes as you peek at the bundle. He's here again, down in the cellar. He's not so good, my child. Sleeping now, but it would be best if you go get him to bed before his men see him like this again. The knot in your stomach is as real now as it was when you were 12. I'll go get him. Don't worry, he won't make a fuss. He just needs time. You know, Kane. Deep wounds take a long while to heal. The old woman turns back to her meat and resumes her meandering humming. The sound of a man clearing his throat snaps you out for your reminiscing. May I help you? May I help you, my lord? The man lifts his outfit offers in a hoarse voice. The chief The chef offers a short bow and a tired but sincere smile. I am Chief Armand, and my humble kitchen is at your disposal, my lord. Sadly, I was told of your arrival only minutes ago, and my oven must be fired up again. You must be famous. Indeed I am, you reply. My suggestion is thusly. Whilst I stoke the fire, you run down to the pantry and fetch some cured ham and cheddar cheese. I will then teach you how to cook my renowned melted cheese sandwich, and you shall never want for an evening meal for as long as you live. Very well. Splendid. The pantry is to the west of the wine cellar, and the cheese is kept in the northmost room. Return when you have the cured ham and cheddar. I shall provide bread and instructions. Now venture forth into the underworld. Hayden asks me to fetch him a bottle of brandy, you mention as you go passing. The old wretch is too cowardly to come himself, so he sends you instead. The brandy will be the end of him, I say. But then again, who am I to deny the old fool his few pleasures? You can find the crate of the fine gourmand brandy in the northeast corner of the wine cellar. Chief Armand looks back and forth, tending to the fire and keeping the kitchen tidy. He is a gated man who has been on his feet for far too many hours. Rightio. Off to the wine cellar it is. But let's equip our lantern first. We have a bit of light. Another lantern. The empty bottles littering the floors of this room, you chuckle to yourself as you imagine the kitchen staff in their wine tasting sessions. No doubt much revelry has been taking place here. When a cold gust of wind from the passage to the north, the wine cellar lies that way, and you can almost hear faint sobbing. Ghosts, no doubt. And there's the ham. Lots of ham for us, I'd say. And there's cheese. So we have the ham, we have the cheese. For a toasted ham and cheese sandwich, which I do like, I must admit. We need to get the brandy and we can be on our way. You are gripped by a long-hidden memory upon entering this part of the cellar. You sealed it away, but so doing preserved its strength, and now it demands freedom. You can still recall smelling him before you could make out his writhing shape in the dim lit of the cellar. Mistress Valeria, open the door. Your father doesn't even notice you in the throes of his intoxicated ramblings. How could they take her? Her chambers were locked from the inside. Where is she? You tried to take some sense into him. Your father jolts upright, the blood-soaked whiteness of his eyes glaring out the darkness. We found her, wandering the forest outside the estate. Mistress Valeria, help him stand. Haltingly and leaning heavily on you, your father manages to stand. She was never the same. Whatever happened broke her. It was the girl, you know. But the seed was planted in Valeria that night. But how could you know? You were but a babe yourself. You help lead the now sobbing man out of the cellar. Stop it, father, you mutter. Lord Cato trusted me and I failed him, but Valeria was the one to pay the price. Mind broken and that spawn of a child. Your father's voice seethes with fury. Enough, you say. Don't talk back to me, you bastard. What do you know about honour? As much as your harlot mother. Your father steps away from you unsteadily, tears streaming down his contorted face. Remember, we are only like 12 years old. So striking him probably... Any of these would probably make sense for 12 years olds. Let's probably just go like, shut up. Let's go with that. You draw a ragged breath as you snap out the memory, your knuckles white. You are alone in the damp cellar and don't particularly feel like dwelling there. Maybe our father didn't die a glorious death on the battlefield. In fact, maybe he had a little bit less ignoble end, and we're just being kind to our old mentor and old mentor and friend, to not tell him the fate of our father. Then perhaps. Right, the game's saved, and here we are. I have the ham and the cheese, you declare. Perfect. First of all, here is some bread. Now, the cauldron is quite empty and just warm enough for you to use. Remember, you need both the bread, the ham, and the cheese to make the perfect sandwich. Now go, give it a try and bring me the result. I shall see if you have it, if you have it in you. Cheese sandwich fit for a king. For the first few moments, whilst eating a melted cheese sandwich, all the world is well again. Indeed it is. Chief Almond wanders back and forth. Present your sandwich for inspection. Almond wafts the scent of the grilled sandwich towards his nose. Ah, the crust of the bread, the softness of the cheese, the savouriness of the ham, perfection. You shall indeed never again go hungry in the night. So we have our cheese sandwich. Yeah, you can't use the items like this. You use them when you're camping. Like when you make rest for the day, that's when you would use food for. So we need to go and check out the gardens next, and we do have the brandy for our old friend. I have your medicine, you say. Ah, some fine foraging, young whelp. Before you can get a word in, Kajon snatches the bottle, uncorks it and drinks deeply. The old man, eyes closed, lets out a deep sigh. May your sleep be dreamless, he speaks as if to himself. May your sleep be dreamless, you say? Kaden smiles sadly. An old soldier's greeting. Something one mercenary would say to another as a prayer to not dwell on painful memories. The kind that comes with the work your father and I. Kadon halts momentarily and looks at you. Your father and I would always part with those words. Now I've held you long enough. Be on your way. Yeah, it's basically like PTSD has been something that existed throughout time. It's only just recently that we've come to recognise it. It was known as cell shock before, but you read the accounts of historical chronicles, like from the Crimea, from like the 100 Years' War, and they talk of soldiers of all the classic signs of post-traumatic stress disorder. It's something that has plagued humanity for as long as conflict has existed. So, let's head to the garden. They said it was to the west. I hear Master Cato isn't seeing anyone. Charmed, I'm sure. Okay. The end of the garden. A house we can't get into. You stand before the gate of the hedge maze. It stirs old feelings of both dread and elation. The sounds and smells of the estate grounds, as they were long ago, call to you from a distant memory. You feel you could easily plunge into their depths. Let yourself go and remember. Which daydream is it this time? Are you valiantly defending me from rebels again? Bella throws a pine cone at you, snapping you from your reverie. She is 10 years old and you are a year her senior, so we're 11 at this point. Let's play hide and seek in the maze. I'll hide. You faintly hear someone yell her name from a distance. You better run, Star Child, you say. Only Mother ever called me that. And Bella says, frowning, where did you hear it from? Before you can reply, she flings another pine cone at you before darting off into the maze as you give chase. You hear a man's voice yelling, and Bella's name again, much closer now. Either way, she's lost you in the winding passages of the hedge maze. Your memory tugs at you, urging you on to the centre of the maze. The thing with mazes, there is always something hidden somewhere. Probably want to follow the path, which is probably the way we need to go. And here we go to the maze. You stand at the centre of the maze. It feels much less impressive than you remember. The ornamental pond was once an ocean, the rock at its heart a windswept island. You found me, daydreamer. You remember the tone of her voice, and you can almost see the impish 10-year-old girl wading through the pond. Why do you always come here? You question. I like the water. It's so calm. And Bella suits you a mischievous look. You note the faintest tang of ozone. She takes a slow motion hop through the water, her fingers trailing the pond surface. Where water and skin meet, strange colours bleed and spread across the surface. And Bella, you'll get in trouble. Stop it. And Bella moves her fingers across the surface like a painter's brush. Colours spill across the pond, and for a sleeping moment, you fancy that you can see a cloud-topped mountain. You can see cloud-topped mountains, or was it ramparts of an impossibly large city reaching towards the heavens? The silence is shattered by a shout, along with a beguiling along with the beguiling images. Mistress and Bella, the master requests you in the house immediately. That's my father. Something's wrong, you mutter. It's mother. She's ill again. I think I cause it. With what I can do, it poisons her mind. How long until mother isn't mother, or until father isn't lord, or your father isn't master of arms? How long will any of it last? Why are you talking like this? I don't know. No one does. Everything falls apart in the end. Remember, we're 11 years old. At this point, let's go with, why are you talking like this? I probably got 11 years old. I don't know. No one does. Do you ever feel like everything is a lie? Like there's a veil that covers everything? But in some part it's thin enough to see through. And Bella starts as your father steps breathfully into the enclosed garden, his red face from exertion or anger. Young lady, you can't run off like this. The whole estate is looking for you. Your mother is ill and needs you now. You say nothing. Your father shoots you a stern glance. I'll deal with you later. And Bella says nothing as your father grabs her by the arm and hauls her past you. Back to the house. She doesn't meet your eyes as you pass. Finding yourself back in the present, a chill has crept into your bones. You best move on. Not a pleasant sounding childhood, to be honest. I say, I'm quite lost. Indeed you are, sir. So out we go again, back to the main entranceway. Pet the dog. Indeed we do. There you are. If your nostalgia is appeased, the master will see you now. Yes, let's go see Cato. Very well. If it pleases you, the master is in his office, just ahead. And note, once you meet with the master, things may move quickly and you may not have another chance to walk the grounds. Yes, I remember the way, you mutter. I suppose you do, but I escort you nonetheless. A flicker of a smile plays across her face and she beckons for you to lead the way. So she is just a straight up fighter. Abilities: Precise Strike, Frost, Parry, Second Wind. Man, she's level 9 fighter. And she's good. She's got high agility. And she's got 31 out of 57 ranks. Yeah, so she's pumped up. Yeah. Let's go. Better not keep them waiting. The opulence is faded, the shadows long, But clearly much has changed since the last time you were here. Try to remember how long it's been. It's been years, perhaps decades since you were here. Not since your father was house arms master, not since. You must have your wits about you, and perhaps now is not the time to dwell on painful memories. Not since your father's exile. You were no more than 12 when you were driven from the household. Hard were the years that followed. The mercenary life is bloody, unforgiving. Those years stole your childhood, and eventually they took your father too. So he either died on the battlefield or died of drink. Yeah, okay. That's what we can take from this. But your father had always insisted to his dying breath that his failure had been his own, that he'd gotten the fate he deserved. The memories are painful nonetheless. Be on your way. Flanking the doorway are 2 marble statues. The craftsmanship is stunning, but the sight of the 2 women depicted fills you with sadness. Examine them. One you recognise immediately, Valeria Byron, the mistress of the house. You remember her as a grey ghost, absent and unwell. The other statue depicts the girl who once you knew so well, Embella Byron, daughter of the house, and now a woman grown strong, clever, and clear-eyed. Her likeness is none of her mother's cowed timidness. How is Mistress Valeria these days, you inquire? Mistress is vacationing in the countryside, Lyra answers curtly. And what of Embella? Her eyes flicker ever so slightly. We should hasten to Master Byron. He's long been impatient to see you. Okay, which probably means that something's happened. Considering that she's dodging the question. Lyra clears her throat behind you. Not that way, if you don't mind. The master office lies through here. She motions you to the left. Do you mind if I have a look around, you say? Master Cato has summoned you, and I don't intend to keep him waiting. Besides, there's no need for you to disturb the servants at this task. I'll be silent as the night, you say. Lyra goes still for a fraction of a second as if sensing something beyond just your perceptions. Then her eyes narrow and a missive smile plays across her features. Through the dining hall lies the hearth. A beast lurks there. I wager you cannot make your way past the servants in the dining hall and sneak up to that beast without being noticed. What shall we wager, you say? We'll decide that once we see if you can be as quiet as you claim. The dining hall, the hearth lies ahead, and mind your step. I'll only give you one chance. Let's get here. Let's get our passage up. That up. Stealth again. The room around you lies silent and seemingly empty save for the crackle of burning logs. The fire casts a dim light and dark shadow. A single goblet stands half empty on a small table. Lyra, a warm breath on your ear startles you as she whispers, near imperceptibly. You have walked into a trap. The beast has laid an ambush for us. Can you sense him preparing to strike? The hair stands up on your neck. If it is from latent danger or something else, you cannot tell. No, do not look, she whispers, louder now. Close your eyes. Let your senses be the absence of action. Become empty for the ambience to flow into you. Now he is to our right or left side. Awareness, empty your mind. Here we go. Natural double sixes again. Yes. You roll around to the right, grasping instinctively at the weapon that isn't hanging by your side. Blood rushes to your head and your mouth goes dry. The figure standing in the shadows behind you is laden with promise of violence. In a corner of your eye you register Lyra biting her lip in gleeful anticipation. The figure slowly laughs as the texture of an avalanche. The figure's slow laugh has the texture of an avalanche as he slowly emerges from the shadows. You would be dead anyway. You would be dead either way, but at least you would get a chance to see the blade. Lyra laughs and pats Roland on the shoulder. Cain, I present you Roland Greyeye, a man you should pray to always fight alongside and never against. Roland offers you a large, battered, worn hand and grasps his surprisingly soft, as you clasp it. You realise he's making an effort not to harm you with the gesture. Good to see I'm not alone in waiting on the rich and noble. His mouth contorts with something resembling a smile. Have you been summoned as well? You inquire. Roland Goodeye shifts momentarily to Lyra, who interjects. One of my master's foremost skills is his ability to recognise and attract resourceful individuals. Roland is one such individual, and as are you. It seems now my master has waited long enough, and you two will have enough time to get to know each other later. Lyra offers a short bow to Roland, who returns it in a surprisingly respectful manner. We must go. Lyra leads you back through the dining hall. A slight sense of urgency has crept into her step. What about the wager, you say? The wager. Very well. What is a fitting prize for such a feat? The glory alone will be sufficient to teach me something. Diplomacy, we could do it for a kiss. I don't think Cain is the type to do that. Let's go teach me something. Very well. Idra places a coin in her open palm. Attempt to grab it. Despite several attempts, you fail to snatch the coin from her. You fail because you are waiting for the right moment to strike. Instead, you must strike in the void between moments. Ponder this now. Let's go. Lyra closes the door to the dining hall. Let us not keep Master Cato waiting. The finality of her words leaves no room for discussion. But what did we get out of that? Well, we got level 2. Fantastic. We got plus 5 vitality. For the first time in your life, you are overcome with a sense of purpose. The path ahead will be undoubtedly difficult, but you are certain that this one you are supposed to take. So we got 3 points. Okay. What do we want to put them in? An increase for damage for blade. Actually, no, if we're going shield, we do need to get phalanx up. That would be good. And we've got 2 points left, so we can increase toughness. Range, accuracy, I'm not interested in. I think I'm going to boost the blade damage. Yeah, let's boost blade. Yeah, let's boost. Yeah, let's get that up. Blade rank 3. So we have phalanx. When we're standing next to someone in combat, we get a boost to our defense, and we can hack things, which is fantastic. So we can go this way. Can't seem to interact with the map. Okay. Holy tombs. Nah, maybe you can sell them for something useful. Who knows? We probably don't even have it on our person, to be honest. And we can't interact with the map. Okie dokie. Enough exploring. Onwards and ever upwards, as they say. To the main hall. Cato Byron sits tall in a tasteful but modest reception room. He looks less imposing, you remember, and with a few more crow's feet. Nonetheless, he has lost none of his composure or the air of casual authority. You take a seat across a formidable desk from him. This study, like the rest of the villa, is half-lit, given a morose cast to its opulence. The old man's face creases in a tired but genuine smile, which momentarily lifts some of the room's oppressive mood. "It's a mercy to see you again. Your own man in your own prime," Cato says, before a frown consumes his smile. "It's just the same, our reunion is overshadowed by the fates of those we love, but perhaps together we can improve our collective circumstances." "So you know my father is dead," you say. Cato leans forward, hands clasped beneath his chin. "I stout deny it. I was saddened to hear of his passing. Despite everything, I remember him fondly. You drove him to drink and mercenary work," you reply. Cato leans back again, his eyes go distant. "He failed in his duties. For an arms master, there is no greater shame than a lapse of vigilance. He drove himself to exile. He drove himself into exile." Lyra sifts slightly behind Cato. So basically, arms master basically won. I think there must be knights in this setting. "If he failed, then it was never possible to succeed," you mutter. "It may be so, but it is done. I regret his loyalty could not be rewarded. Sometimes the tapestry's weave is not so easy to discern." Cato's face is still mild, yet the sense in his tone is hardening. "Tell me why I am here." You snap. Embla is missing. Cato's voice quivers momentarily, betraying his strict features. "Now I beg you, Cain, help me find my daughter. Help me return her home where she belongs." "Why me?" you say. "Is it not obvious? You are clearly grown to inherit your father's resourcefulness, and besides, Embla has trusted you since before either of you could speak." "Now the fool has gotten herself into trouble." "No, it's not. That's not a nice thing to say. What happened to her, you say?" "She left without notice a week ago. From scant clues we had, we believe she boarded the ship bound for one of the outer isles, Idra. She went on her own free will. At the time I thought little of it." Cato begins to glower. "Since then, however, there have been reports, grave ones." "Reports, you say?" No one and no word has left Idra in days. Rumour has it even the Imperial augurs are in the dark. I know not how this touches the fate of my daughter, but she must be returned to me one way or another." "Any idea why she left, you say?" "Something has been building in her for years. An aptitude of sorts, but I suspected you already know. In any case, it's grown much stronger lately and drives her in ways I cannot understand. I suspect she is looking for answers." "An aptitude?" you question. "An aptitude of the worst kind. It does not spring from the conical imperial proxies, instead it comes from elsewhere. It is a kind the Emperor does not suffer to exist. I hope it only answers that she seeks." Okay, so she has some kind of magic then, from the sounds of it, that it's not approved of by the Empire. "Why Idra?" "Why indeed? There is little on the island save for a port of Horen. If Idra was her destination, she must have landed there." "Horen?" "Yes, an old imperial port and home to the few hundred whalers, traders and the occasional smuggler. We can only speculate as to what drew her there, but it's our only lead." "You mentioned her aptitude." "An aptitude for the West, okay. Oh, blah, we've heard that. What can I do?" "Hire mercenaries, travel to Idra, and begin your search in the port of Horen. From there, I trust you to do what needs to be done. Spare no cost, just bring back my daughter. Mercenaries, you say? Yes, if nothing else, the port will be dangerous enough. That is why I have summoned Roland Grey-Eye to me, a crude but effective sellsword that I've made good use of before. He shall accompany you on this task. I met the man just before seeing you, you say. The man is a grizzled veteran. He may have slowed with age, but experience and reliability more than make up for it. He's also much respected by similar men, so will be instrumental in hiring a reliable crew. I'll take that into consideration, you mutter. Cato shows you his upturned palm, beseeching. I know this thing I ask of you is fraught with danger, but this is your chance to improve your fortune, materially and in honour. What you say, you? What makes you think I care, you say? A chill draught causes a nearby can to flicker, and you see the cold mirrored in Cato's face. You're not to blame for your decline in your family's fortune, but you could be responsible for restoring it. We'll see, you say. Cato smiles softly, visibly relieved. For a moment he looks like the man you remember. Have you any final questions or the matter to discuss? Time is, as I'm sure you appreciate, of the essence. Let's get on with it, you mutter. Cato stands with poorly concealed effort, and Cain, you stand and meet his gaze. Return her to me. There is no other outcome of this affair. You shake your hand and leave. Remain silent and leave. You have my word, Cato, and leave. No, I think Cain would just leave, because this guy drove him and his father out and drove his father to drink. He's being polite. Cain probably would be polite in this instance as much as he can be, but he's not going to be he's going to give the minimum of politeness. Even if this guy is such a powerful bloke and he's a mercenary, he's not going to basically shake his hand. He's not going to give any guarantee to this guy. He's just going to basically be polite, professional, remain silent, and leave. Yeah. Chapter 1 begins. We are in the water by the looks of it. And we've got nothing but rags upon our person. We are also hurt with an injured leg. Okay, so we're not great. So we struggle to shore. Slowly you drag yourself from the cold water onto the relative safety of solid rock. You try and fail to stagger forward or as exhaustion washes over you in the great blank wave. Oblivion takes you before you can hit the rocky ground. You're awakened by a cacophonous cries of gulls circling you. Your body is a mass of pain and exhaustion, covered in thousands of cuts and scrapes. The large white birds gather around you in eager anticipation. What a magnificent feast your bloated corpse would make. Not today, though, you mutter. Minutes or perhaps hours pass as you lay unmoving, trying desperately to will some warmth back into your body. Finally, you manage to force your eyes open. By some miracle, you are not only alive, but you find yourself on the shores of the cursed island of Idra. Strewn around you is the wreckage of the Zephyr. You see no other survivors. Least you find equipment and companions soon, you may have cheated death in vain. Your character is critically injured. This means you have taken enough damage to reduce both your vitality and wounds. The green bar under your character portrays your vitality score, which we've already mentioned. Vitality is a buffer for your wounds, and as long as you have vitality left, you won't take serious wound damage. Vitality is easily lost and easily regained. Think of it like temporary HP or stamina. Potions and healing magic restores vitality even during combat. The second purple bar represents your wounds. The second purple bar represents your wounds. Losing wounds It's much more serious than losing vitality. Reducing 0 wounds means your character falls unconscious. Wounds can be recovered only by resting or leveling up. I think it's supposed to be the red bar, because it appears red to me rather than purple. Well, I suppose it could be sort of like a beige kind of burgundy kind of red, which is almost like a purple. And they suggest we avoid wounds at all costs, which you need to do. Whenever you take a wound, you gain an injury condition as indicated by the icon on the portrait. Injuries confer serious penalties to your character and can only be recovered by resting. A party full of injured party members has its combat effectiveness severely reduced. Making camp and resting is the surest way of restoring any injured character. Note that resting is not possible in every location, so plan accordingly. You can rest at inns when you find them. So we're injured. And there's stuff up. No, it's going to take us a long way, but there's a chest. Drinking horn. There's like a trinket. A little bit of money. Not looking great. There's a corpse. Wading out of the freezing surf, you lose your footing on the slick stones and fall heavily on the ground. There's a sudden blur of movement to the corner of your eye, and as you frantically try and get to your feet, you slip again. Standing above you on a large rock is a young woman dressed in nautical guild livery. Wet, auburn hair clings to her face in the cold wind. Magus balls. I was the only one to make it ashore. The woman leaps from the rocks and helps you back to your feet. Looking you up and down, she fetches a wine skin from her belt and offers it to you. The skin is nearly empty, save for a last mouthful of brandy. You drink it down greedily, slowly feeling a modicum of warmth creeping into your bones. You recognise the young woman's face now. She must have served on the Zephyr. What's your name, you say? Catanaz, my name. The crew calls me Kate. Or Cat. Or rather they did, I suppose. She looks up and down the beach with a narrow brow. Listen, we have to get out. We need to get off this beach before you freeze or worse. Or worse, you say? There's something wrong about this place. Can't you feel it? Like a taste in your mouth, and there are beasts, huge sea creatures I've never seen before. I saw them dragging the dead crewmen into caves west of here. At least I hope they were dead. Kate shudders. What do you suggest? We need supplies and shelter first. There might be salvage to be had amongst the wreckage on the beach. I also think I spotted a chimney of a house just north of the cliffs. A warm fire and some food would go a long way. Kate offers you her hand and drags you to your feet. She looks pensive towards the west. Also, as I said, there's a cave west of here. I think the crabs dragged off most of the corpses. The corpses there, but what if they're not all dead? Might be other survivors like you and me. What's more, there's a chance one of the officers was carrying the seal when the boat sank. If we can find it, the nautical guild would give everything to have it returned to them. Seal? Captain Seal. It's a medallion of sorts that is carried on every guild vessel. It's not just for show either. They say the seals are forged by the Magi and may have secret powers, but I don't know nothing about that. All I know is the guild pays well to have one returned if a ship is ever lost. It's always worn by one of the officers, but I don't think the captain had it on him when the fight broke out. It might have been the first mate who was carrying it, and I think he was still alive when the ship sank. So, I would say we give the cave. That cave is the west, is where we should start looking. You ready to go? I have some questions first, you say. There'll be plenty more time for that once we get off this beach. You ready? Fine, let's go. Good. I found this bow in the cargo crate. Best find you a weapon too as soon as possible. I suspect we need it before long. Together you begin to move off the beach towards whatever darkness dwells in the island's interior. Okay. So she's a thief. Let's give her some feats. Kate is level 2, so we get some more variety. Yeah, okay. Tradecraft. Get backstab, allows the character to perform backstab against vulnerable targets. Increase backstab damage. Light weapon fitness. Increased thievery, increased stealth. Okay, let's put a point into that. Light weapon fitness, which is I think like daggers and the like. Increased thievery, which is to put in, if she's going to be a thief character, probably best to invest. Increased stealth. Yeah, let's put that there. Hidden deployment we can't get. And this is probably going to be locked. If it's the next call down, it'll be level 5 until we get that. Piercing damage weapons, damage type bonus. Okay. Yeah. So let's get that. And let's get a couple of points in to get backstab damage increased. Another point to get a stealth. Increase initiative. Yeah, let's go with light armor. Increase backstab damage. And let's boost up her stealth. So we'll have her as sort of like a stealthy character, the one that we use for sneaking. And she has a lot of backstab ability. Okay. Yeah, so her bonuses are all here. So if you want to be stealthy, seize the person to be. Okay. What do we have for inventory? 4 arrows. And she has a club. You take the club for now. Bird. Checkered tunic. Okay. Yeah, you're not looking great. That'll be alertness that gets... So no penalty yet. You can have the club as a backup weapon. Okay. Some bits and pieces. We're not looking great though. Some rations. And there's some what looks like to be a clambering point up the cliff. Yeah, this should be able to do. Yeah, so we clamber up on the cliff. The stench of rotten flesh fills your nostrils. Ahead of you, grotesque, misshapen crustacean horrors feast greedily on the corpse of a dead crew of the Zephyr. Blasted horrors, cat spits through gritted teeth. What manner of force has spawned these creatures? Okay. Let's try and get higher. Yeah, there we go again. There's someone up here. Who are you? Standing on the edge of a cliff is a crewmate from the Zephyr, looking lucky enough to have made it ashore. The man is swaying and looks in shock. I saw it, by the dead. I just saw it out there. The thing that sunk us, it's still out there. The man begins jabbing incoherently. Okay, so he's no good to us at all. That's a way down. And there's a body at the bottom of the hill. A fine wrought telescope used for astronomical observations. Lenses are no doubt the product of some emperor's finest halomancers and allow stars to be observed even in the night sky. Examine the seas. You look out upon the churning grey royal that surrounds the windswept shores of Idra. Far out there amongst great waves and beating winds, you swerve, momentarily see a great glistening shape shifting just beneath the surface. Whatever madness has befallen this island, you are certainly safer here than any ship out there. Let's examine the sky. You point the telescope skyward, and after a few moments of searching, you find a gap where the storm skies have parted, just enough for you to allow you to examine the stars in their firmament. Examine it more closely. Okay, so we can't. Well, you realise your knowledge of someone is quite lacking. You are nonetheless left with a feeling of wrongness you can't quite explain. Okay, so what do we have here? Pick up some rope, some money, some brandy and some rations, an astronomer's journal. Okay, what does it say? The journal contains a large amount of tabulated data that appears to be astrological in nature, interspersed with notes. The final entry appears to have been made only days before your arrival. Observe strange dancing lights in the sky. Not unlike those sailors to the far south described near polar regions, yet somehow different. Colours indescribable, mesmerising. For a fleeting moment, I even thought I heard the sound of somewhere between a deep veil and singing. Could not perform observations tonight. Charter instruments are off, and I cannot make sense of the sky. There are bodies there, bodies that are alien to me. It must be some form of comet storm or some other extraordinary astronomical event that has not been predicted in the imperial charts. But they are wrong. I have done the calculations over and over, and I have come to the same conclusion. The stars were wrong in so many ways, as I observed an alien cluster in the southeastern quadrant. It dawned on me with absolute certainty. I am not watching them, they are watching me. I dread to look again, yet I feel compelled to do so. They beckon me. I am certain that if I look again into that dreadful cluster in the southeastern quadrant, I shall be undone. Yet there are answers there deeper and more profound than any mortal mind can comprehend. I believe I must look again. I must. Okay. And there are things here. Dire hound. Ooh, those things look nasty. We have a bed. This is the camp screen. Using it to feed the party and selecting camp activities for the party to perform while resting. Okay. To fully recover from injuries, your party members must be well fed. Normally 10 points of food is required per party member to fully recover. Any food from your inventory, add food from your inventory by double clicking it. You can also need to select camp activities for your party members that provide bonuses based on your character's skills. Good to know. That's for next time, folks. I've been Cornish-knight. This has been Skald against the Black Priory, and Kane and Kate find themselves upon the shores of Idra, bruised, battered, but alive, and we shall see you all again next time. Goodbye, folks.